Acts 21. Now it came to pass, that when we had departed from them and set sail, running a straight course we came to Kos, the following day to Rhodes, and from there to Patara. And it came to pass, that after we were gotten from them, and had launched, we came with a straight course unto Kos, and the day following unto Rhodes, and from thence unto Patara. And finding a ship sailing over to Phoenicia, we went aboard and set sail. And finding a ship sailing over unto Phoenicia, we went aboard, and set forth. When we had sighted Cyprus, we passed it on the left, sailed to Syria, and landed at Tyre, for there the ship was to unload her cargo. Now when we had discovered Cyprus, we left it on the left hand, and sailed into Syria, and landed at Tyre, for there the ship was to unlade her burden. And finding disciples, we stayed there 7 days. They told Paul through the Spirit not to go up to Jerusalem. And finding disciples, we tarried there 7 days, who said to Paul through the Spirit, that he should not go up to Jerusalem. When we had come to the end of those days, we departed and went on our way, and they all accompanied us, with wives and children, till we were out of the city. And we knelt down on the shore and prayed. And when we had accomplished those days, we departed and went our way, and they all brought us on our way, with wives and children, till we were out of the city, and we kneeled down on the shore, and prayed. When we had taken our leave of one another, we boarded the ship, and they returned home. And when we had taken our leave one of another, we took ship, and they returned home again. And when we had finished our voyage from Tyre, we came to Ptolemy, greeted the brethren, and stayed with them 1 day. And when we had finished our course from Tyre, we came to Ptolemy, and saluted the brethren, and abode with them 1 day. On the next day we who were Paul's companions departed and came to Caesarea, and entered the house of Philip the evangelist, who was one of the 7, and stayed with him. And the next day we that were of Paul's company departed, and came unto Caesarea, and we entered into the house of Philip the evangelist, which was one of the 7, and abode with him. Now this man had 4 virgin daughters who prophesied. And the same man had 4 daughters, virgins, which did prophesy. And as we stayed many days, a certain prophet named Agabus came down from Judea. And as we tarried there many days, there came down from Judea a certain prophet, named Agabus. When he had come to us, he took Paul's belt, bound his own hands and feet, and said, Thus says the Holy Spirit, so shall the Jews at Jerusalem bind the man who owns this belt, and deliver him into the hands of the Gentiles. And when he was come unto us, he took Paul's girdle, and bound his own hands and feet, and said, Thus saith the Holy Ghost, so shall the Jews at Jerusalem bind the man that owneth this girdle, and shall deliver him into the hands of the Gentiles. Now when we heard these things, both we and those from that place pleaded with him not to go up to Jerusalem. And when we heard these things, both we, and they of that place, besought him not to go up to Jerusalem. Then Paul answered, What do you mean by weeping and breaking my heart? For I am ready not only to be bound, but also to die at Jerusalem for the name of the Lord Jesus. Then Paul answered, What mean ye to weep and to break mine heart? For I am ready not to be bound only, but also to die at Jerusalem for the name of the Lord Jesus. So when he would not be persuaded, we ceased, saying, The will of the Lord be done. And when he would not be persuaded, we ceased, saying, The will of the Lord be done. And after those days we packed and went up to Jerusalem. And after those days we took up our carriages, and went up to Jerusalem. Also some of the disciples from Caesarea went with us and brought with them a certain Nason of Cyprus, an early disciple, with whom we were to lodge. There went with us also certain of the disciples of Caesarea, and brought with them one Nason of Cyprus, an old disciple, with whom we should lodge. And when we had come to Jerusalem, the brethren received us gladly. And when we were come to Jerusalem, the brethren received us gladly. On the following day Paul went in with us to James, and all the elders were present. And the day following Paul went in with us unto James, and all the elders were present. When he had greeted them, he told in detail those things which God had done among the Gentiles through his ministry. And when he had saluted them, he declared particularly what things God had wrought among the Gentiles by his ministry. And when they heard it, they glorified the Lord. And they said to him, You see, brother, how many myriads of Jews there are who have believed, and they are all zealous for the law. And when they heard it, they glorified the Lord, and said unto him, Thou sayest, brother, how many thousands of Jews there are which believe, and they are all zealous of the law. But they have been informed about you that you teach all the Jews who are among the Gentiles to forsake Moses, saying that they ought not to circumcise their children nor to walk according to the customs. And they are informed of thee, that thou teachest all the Jews which are among the Gentiles to forsake Moses, saying that they ought not to circumcise their children, neither to walk after the customs. What then? The assembly must certainly meet, for they will hear that you have come. What is it therefore? The multitude must needs come together, for they will hear that thou art come. Therefore do what we tell you. We have 4 men who have taken a vow. Do therefore this that we say to thee, we have 4 men which have a vow on them. Take them and be purified with them, and pay their expenses so that they may shave their heads, and that all may know that those things of which they were informed concerning you are nothing, but that you yourself also walk orderly and keep the law. Them take, and purify thyself with them, and be at charges with them, that they may shave their heads, and all may know that those things, whereof they were informed concerning thee, are nothing, but that thou thyself also walkest orderly, and keepest the law. But concerning the Gentiles who believe, we have written and decided that they should observe no such thing, except that they should keep themselves from things offered to idols, from blood, from things strangled, and from sexual immorality. As touching the Gentiles which believe, we have written and concluded that they observe no such thing, save only that they keep themselves from things offered to idols, and from blood, and from strangled, and from fornication. Then Paul took the men, and the next day, having been purified with them, entered the temple to announce the expiration of the days of purification, at which time an offering should be made for each one of them. Then Paul took the men, and the next day purifying himself with them entered into the temple, to signify the accomplishment of the days of purification, until that an offering should be offered for every one of them. Now when the 7 days were almost ended, the Jews from Asia, seeing him in the temple, stirred up the whole crowd and laid hands on him. And when the 7 days were almost ended, the Jews which were of Asia, when they saw him in the temple, stirred up all the people, and laid hands on him, crying out, Men of Israel, help! This is the man who teaches all men everywhere against the people, the law, and this place, and furthermore he also brought Greeks into the temple and has defiled this holy place. Crying out, Men of Israel, help! This is the man, that teacheth all men everywhere against the people, and the law, and this place, and further brought Greeks also into the temple, and hath polluted this holy place. For they had previously seen Trophimus the Ephesian with him in the city, whom they supposed that Paul had brought into the temple. For they had seen before with him in the city Trophimus an Ephesian, whom they supposed that Paul had brought into the temple. And all the city was disturbed, and the people ran together, seized Paul, and dragged him out of the temple, and immediately the doors were shut. And all the city was moved, and the people ran together, and they took Paul, and drew him out of the temple, and forthwith the doors were shut. Now as they were seeking to kill him, news came to the commander of the garrison that all Jerusalem was in an uproar. And as they went about to kill him, tidings came unto the chief captain of the band, that all Jerusalem was in an uproar. He immediately took soldiers and centurions, and ran down to them. And when they saw the commander and the soldiers, they stopped beating Paul. Who immediately took soldiers and centurions, and ran down unto them, and when they saw the chief captain and the soldiers, they left beating of Paul. Then the commander came near and took him, and commanded him to be bound with 2 chains, and he asked who he was and what he had done. Then the chief captain came near, and took him, and commanded him to be bound with 2 chains, and demanded who he was, and what he had done. And some among the multitude cried one thing and some another. So when he could not ascertain the truth because of the tumult, he commanded him to be taken into the barracks. And some cried one thing, some another, among the multitude, and when he could not know the certainty for the tumult, he commanded him to be carried into the castle. When he reached the stairs, he had to be carried by the soldiers because of the violence of the mob. And when he came upon the stairs, so it was, that he was borne of the soldiers for the violence of the people. For the multitude of the people followed after, crying out, Away with him! For the multitude of the people followed after, crying, Away with him! Then as Paul was about to be led into the barracks, he said to the commander, May I speak to you? He replied, Can you speak Greek? And as Paul was to be led into the castle, he said unto the chief captain, May I speak unto thee? Who said, Canst thou speak Greek? Are you not the Egyptian who some time ago stirred up a rebellion and led the 4,000 assassins out into the wilderness? Art not thou that Egyptian, which before these days madest an uproar, and leddest out into the wilderness 4,000 men that were murderers? But Paul said, I am a Jew from Tarsus, in Cilicia, a citizen of no mean city, and I implore you, permit me to speak to the people. But Paul said, I am a man which am a Jew of Tarsus, a city in Cilicia, a citizen of no mean city, and, I beseech thee, suffer me to speak unto the people. So when he had given him permission, Paul stood on the stairs and motioned with his hand to the people. And when there was a great silence, he spoke to them in the Hebrew language, saying. And when he had given him license, Paul stood on the stairs, and beckoned with the hand unto the people. And when there was made a great silence, he spake unto them in the Hebrew tongue, saying. Acts 22. Brethren and fathers, hear my defense before you now. Men, brethren, and fathers, hear ye my defense which I make now unto you. And when they heard that he spoke to them in the Hebrew language, they kept all the more silent. Then he said. And when they heard that he spake in the Hebrew tongue to them, they kept the more silence, and he saith. I am indeed a Jew, born in Tarsus of Cilicia, but brought up in this city at the feet of Gamaliel, taught according to the strictness of our fathers' law, and was zealous toward God as you all are today. I am verily a man which am a Jew, born in Tarsus, a city in Cilicia, yet brought up in this city at the feet of Gamaliel, and taught according to the perfect manner of the law of the fathers, and was zealous toward God, as ye all are this day. I persecuted this way to the death, binding and delivering into prisons both men and women. And I persecuted this way unto the death, binding and delivering into prisons both men and women. As also the high priest bears me witness, and all the council of the elders, from whom I also received letters to the brethren, and went to Damascus to bring in chains even those who were there to Jerusalem to be punished. As also the high priest doth bear me witness, and all the estate of the elders, from whom also I received letters unto the brethren, and went to Damascus, to bring them which were there bound unto Jerusalem, for to be punished. Now it happened, as I journeyed and came near Damascus at about noon, suddenly a great light from heaven shone around me. And it came to pass, that, as I made my journey, and was come nigh unto Damascus about noon, suddenly there shone from heaven a great light round about me. And I fell to the ground and heard a voice saying to me, Saul, Saul, why are you persecuting me? And I fell unto the ground, and heard a voice saying unto me, Saul, Saul, why persecutest thou me? So I answered, Who are you, Lord? And he said to me, I am Jesus of Nazareth, whom you are persecuting. And I answered, Who art thou, Lord? And he said unto me, I am Jesus of Nazareth, whom thou persecutest. And those who were with me indeed saw the light and were afraid, but they did not hear the voice of him who spoke to me. And they that were with me saw indeed the light, and were afraid, but they heard not the voice of him that spake to me. So I said, What shall I do, Lord? And the Lord said to me, Arise and go into Damascus, and there you will be told all things which are appointed for you to do. And I said, What shall I do, Lord? And the Lord said unto me, Arise, and go into Damascus, and there it shall be told thee of all things which are appointed for thee to do. And since I could not see for the glory of that light, being led by the hand of those who were with me, I came into Damascus. And when I could not see for the glory of that light, being led by the hand of them that were with me, I came into Damascus. Then a certain Ananias, a devout man according to the law, having a good testimony with all the Jews who dwelt there. And one Ananias, a devout man according to the law, having a good report of all the Jews which dwelt there, came to me, and he stood and said to me, Brother Saul, receive your sight. And at that same hour I looked up at him. Came unto me, and stood, and said unto me, Brother Saul, receive thy sight. And the same hour I looked up upon him. Then he said, The God of our fathers has chosen you that you should know his will, and see the just one, and hear the voice of his mouth. And he said, The God of our fathers hath chosen thee, that thou shouldest know his will, and see that just one, and shouldest hear the voice of his mouth. For you will be his witness to all men of what you have seen and heard. for thou shalt be his witness unto all men of what thou hast seen and heard. And now why are you waiting? Arise and be baptized, and wash away your sins, calling on the name of the Lord. And now why tarriest thou? Arise, and be baptized, and wash away thy sins, calling on the name of the Lord. Now it happened, when I returned to Jerusalem and was praying in the temple, that I was in a trance. And it came to pass, that, when I was come again to Jerusalem, even while I prayed in the temple, I was in a trance. And saw him saying to me, Make haste and get out of Jerusalem quickly, for they will not receive your testimony concerning me. And saw him saying unto me, Make haste, and get thee quickly out of Jerusalem, for they will not receive thy testimony concerning me. So I said, Lord, they know that in every synagogue I imprisoned and beat those who believe on you. And I said, Lord, they know that I imprisoned and beat in every synagogue them that believed on thee. And when the blood of your martyr Stephen was shed, I also was standing by consenting to his death, and guarding the clothes of those who were killing him. And when the blood of thy martyr Stephen was shed, I also was standing by, and consenting unto his death, and kept the raiment of them that slew him. Then he said to me, Depart, for I will send you far from here to the Gentiles. And he said unto me, Depart, for I will send thee far hence unto the Gentiles. And they listened to him until this word, and then they raised their voices and said, Away with such a fellow from the earth, for he is not fit to live. And they gave him audience unto this word, and then lifted up their voices, and said, Away with such a fellow from the earth, for it is not fit that he should live. Then, as they cried out and tore off their clothes and threw dust into the air. And as they cried out, and cast off their clothes, and threw dust into the air, the commander ordered him to be brought into the barracks, and said that he should be examined under scourging, so that he might know why they shouted so against him. The chief captain commanded him to be brought into the castle, and bade that he should be examined by scourging, that he might know wherefore they cried so against him. And as they bound him with thongs, Paul said to the centurion who stood by, Is it lawful for you to scourge a man who is a Roman, and uncondemned? And as they bound him with thongs, Paul said unto the centurion that stood by, Is it lawful for you to scourge a man that is a Roman, and uncondemned? When the centurion heard that, he went and told the commander, saying, Take care what you do, for this man is a Roman. When the centurion heard that, he went and told the chief captain, saying, Take heed what thou doest, for this man is a Roman. Then the commander came and said to him, Tell me, are you a Roman? He said, Yes. Then the chief captain came, and said unto him, Tell me, art thou a Roman? He said, Yea. The commander answered, With a large sum I obtained this citizenship. And Paul said, But I was born a citizen. And the chief captain answered, With a great sum obtained I this freedom. And Paul said, But I was free-born. Then immediately those who were about to examine him withdrew from him, and the commander was also afraid after he found out that he was a Roman, and because he had bound him. Then straightway they departed from him which should have examined him, and the chief captain also was afraid, after he knew that he was a Roman, and because he had bound him. The next day, because he wanted to know for certain why he was accused by the Jews, he released him from his bonds, and commanded the chief priests and all their council to appear, and brought Paul down and set him before them. On the morrow, because he would have known the certainty wherefore he was accused of the Jews, he loosed him from his bands, and commanded the chief priests and all their council to appear, and brought Paul down, and set him before them. Job 33. But please, Job, hear my speech, and listen to all my words. Wherefore, Job, I pray thee, hear my speeches, and hearken to all my words. Now, I open my mouth, my tongue speaks in my mouth. Behold, now I have opened my mouth, my tongue hath spoken in my mouth. My words come from my upright heart, my lips utter pure knowledge. My words shall be of the uprightness of my heart, and my lips shall utter knowledge clearly. The Spirit of God has made me, and the breath of the Almighty gives me life. The Spirit of God hath made me, and the breath of the Almighty hath given me life. If you can answer me, set your words in order before me, take your stand. If thou canst answer me, set thy words in order before me, stand up. Truly I am as your spokesman before God, I also have been formed out of clay. Behold, I am according to thy wish in God's stead, I also am formed out of the clay. Surely no fear of me will terrify you, nor will my hand be heavy on you. Behold, my terror shall not make thee afraid, neither shall my hand be heavy upon thee. Surely you have spoken in my hearing, and I have heard the sound of your words, saying. Surely thou hast spoken in mine hearing, and I have heard the voice of thy words, saying. I am pure, without transgression, I am innocent, and there is no iniquity in me. I am clean without transgression, I am innocent, neither is there iniquity in me. Yet he finds occasions against me, he counts me as his enemy. Behold, he findeth occasions against me, he counteth me for his enemy. He puts my feet in the stocks, he watches all my paths. He putteth my feet in the stocks, he marketh all my paths. Look, in this you are not righteous. I will answer you, for God is greater than man. Behold, in this thou art not just, I will answer thee, that God is greater than man. Why do you contend with him? For he does not give an accounting of any of his words. Why dost thou strive against him? For he giveth not account of any of his matters. For God may speak in one way, or in another, yet man does not perceive it. For God speaketh once, yet twice, yet man perceiveth it not. In a dream, in a vision of the night, when deep sleep falls upon men, while slumbering on their beds. In a dream, in a vision of the night, when deep sleep falleth upon men, in slumberings upon the bed. Then he opens the ears of men, and seals their instruction. Then he openeth the ears of men, and sealeth their instruction. In order to turn man from his deed, and conceal pride from man. That he may withdraw man from his purpose, and hide pride from man. He keeps back his soul from the pit, and his life from perishing by the sword. He keepeth back his soul from the pit, and his life from perishing by the sword. Man is also chastened with pain on his bed, and with strong pain in many of his bones. He is chastened also with pain upon his bed, and the multitude of his bones with strong pain. So that his life abhors bread, and his soul succulent food. So that his life abhorreth bread, and his soul dainty meat. His flesh wastes away from sight, and his bones stick out which once were not seen. His flesh is consumed away, that it cannot be seen, and his bones that were not seen stick out. Yes, his soul draws near the pit, and his life to the executioners. Yea, his soul draweth near unto the grave, and his life to the destroyers. If there is a messenger for him, a mediator, one among 1,000, to show man his uprightness. If there be a messenger with him, an interpreter, one among 1,000, to shew unto man his uprightness. Then he is gracious to him, and says, Deliver him from going down to the pit, I have found a ransom. Then he is gracious unto him, and saith, Deliver him from going down to the pit, I have found a ransom. His flesh shall be young like a child's, he shall return to the days of his youth. His flesh shall be fresher than a child's, he shall return to the days of his youth. He shall pray to God, and he will delight in him, he shall see his face with joy, for he restores to man his righteousness. He shall pray unto God, and he will be favorable unto him, and he shall see his face with joy, for he will render unto man his righteousness. Then he looks at men and says, I have sinned, and perverted what was right, and it did not profit me. He looketh upon men, and if any say, I have sinned, and perverted that which was right, and it profited me not. He will redeem his soul from going down to the pit, and his life shall see the light. He will deliver his soul from going into the pit, and his life shall see the light. Behold, God works all these things, twice, in fact, 3 times with a man. Lo, all these things worketh God oftentimes with man. To bring back his soul from the pit, that he may be enlightened with the light of life. To bring back his soul from the pit, to be enlightened with the light of the living. Give ear, Job, listen to me, hold your peace, and I will speak. Mark well, O Job, hearken unto me, hold thy peace, and I will speak. If you have anything to say, answer me, speak, for I desire to justify you. If thou hast anything to say, answer me, speak, for I desire to justify thee. If not, listen to me, hold your peace, and I will teach you wisdom. If not, hearken unto me, hold thy peace, and I shall teach thee wisdom. Job 34. Elihu further answered and said, Furthermore Elihu answered and said, Hear my words, you wise men, give ear to me, you who have knowledge. Hear my words, O ye wise men, and give ear unto me, ye that have knowledge. For the ear tests words as the palate tastes food. For the ear trieth words, as the mouth tasteth meat. Let us choose justice for ourselves, let us know among ourselves what is good. Let us choose to us judgment, let us know among ourselves what is good. For Job has said, I am righteous, but God has taken away my justice. For Job hath said, I am righteous, and God hath taken away my judgment. Should I lie concerning my right? My wound is incurable, though I am without transgression. Should I lie against my right? My wound is incurable without transgression. What man is like Job, who drinks scorn like water? What man is like Job, who drinketh up scorning like water? Who goes in company with the workers of iniquity, and walks with wicked men? Which goeth in company with the workers of iniquity, and walketh with wicked men. For he has said, It profits a man nothing that he should delight in God. For he hath said, It profiteth a man nothing that he should delight himself with God. Therefore listen to me, you men of understanding, far be it from God to do wickedness, and from the Almighty to commit iniquity. Therefore hearken unto me, ye men of understanding, far be it from God, that he should do wickedness, and from the Almighty, that he should commit iniquity. For he repays man according to his work, and makes man to find a reward according to his way. For the work of a man shall he render unto him, and cause every man to find according to his ways. Surely God will never do wickedly, nor will the Almighty pervert justice. Yea, surely God will not do wickedly, neither will the Almighty pervert judgment. Who gave him charge over the earth? Or who appointed him over the whole world? Who hath given him a charge over the earth? Or who hath disposed the whole world? If he should set his heart on it, if he should gather to himself his spirit and his breath. If he set his heart upon man, if he gather unto himself his spirit and his breath. All flesh would perish together, and man would return to dust. All flesh shall perish together, and man shall turn again unto dust. If you have understanding, hear this, listen to the sound of my words. If now thou hast understanding, hear this, hearken to the voice of my words. Should one who hates justice govern? Will you condemn him who is most just? Shall even he that hateth right govern? And wilt thou condemn him that is most just? Is it fitting to say to a king, You are worthless, and to nobles, You are wicked? Is it fit to say to a king, Thou art wicked? And to princes, Ye are ungodly? Yet he is not partial to princes, nor does he regard the rich more than the poor, for they are all the work of his hands. How much less to him that accepteth not the persons of princes, nor regardeth the rich more than the poor? For they all are the work of his hands. In a moment they die, in the middle of the night, the people are shaken and pass away, the mighty are taken away without a hand. In a moment shall they die, and the people shall be troubled at midnight, and pass away, and the mighty shall be taken away without hand. For his eyes are on the ways of man, and he sees all his steps. For his eyes are upon the ways of man, and he seeth all his goings. There is no darkness nor shadow of death where the workers of iniquity may hide themselves. There is no darkness, nor shadow of death, where the workers of iniquity may hide themselves. For he need not further consider a man, that he should go before God in judgment. For he will not lay upon man more than right, that he should enter into judgment with God. He breaks in pieces mighty men without inquiry, and sets others in their place. He shall break in pieces mighty men without number, and set others in their stead. Therefore he knows their works, he overthrows them in the night, and they are crushed. Therefore he knoweth their works, and he overturneth them in the night, so that they are destroyed. He strikes them as wicked men in the open sight of others. He strikes them as wicked men in the open sight of others. Because they turned back from him, and would not consider any of his ways. Because they turned back from him, and would not consider any of his ways. So that they caused the cry of the poor to come to him, for he hears the cry of the afflicted. So that they cause the cry of the poor to come unto him, and he heareth the cry of the afflicted. When he gives quietness, who then can make trouble? And when he hides his face, who then can see him, whether it is against a nation or a man alone? When he giveth quietness, who then can make trouble? And when he hideth his face, who then can behold him? Whether it be done against a nation, or against a man only. That the hypocrite should not reign, lest the people be ensnared. That the hypocrite reign not, lest the people be ensnared. For has anyone said to God, I have borne chastening, I will offend no more? Surely it is meet to be said unto God, I have borne chastisement, I will not offend any more. Teach me what I do not see, if I have done iniquity, I will do no more. That which I see not teach thou me, if I have done iniquity, I will do no more. Should he repay it according to your terms, just because you disavow it? You must choose, and not I, therefore speak what you know. Should it be according to thy mind? He will recompense it, whether thou refuse, or whether thou choose, and not I, therefore speak what thou knowest. Men of understanding say to me, wise men who listen to me. Let men of understanding tell me, and let a wise man hearken unto me. Job speaks without knowledge, his words are without wisdom. Job hath spoken without knowledge, and his words were without wisdom. Oh, that Job were tried to the utmost, because his answers are like those of wicked men. My desire is that Job may be tried unto the end because of his answers for wicked men. For he adds rebellion to his sin, he claps his hands among us, and multiplies his words against God. For he addeth rebellion unto his sin, he clappeth his hands among us, and multiplieth his words against God. Psalms 45. My heart is overflowing with a good theme, I recite my composition concerning the king, my tongue is the pen of a ready writer. To the chief musician upon Shoshanim, for the sons of Korah, Maskil, a song of loves. My heart is inditing a good matter, I speak of the things which I have made touching the king, my tongue is the pen of a ready writer. You are fairer than the sons of men, grace is poured upon your lips, therefore God has blessed you forever. Thou art fairer than the children of men, grace is poured into thy lips, therefore God hath blessed thee forever. Gird your sword upon your thigh, O mighty one, with your glory and your majesty. Gird thy sword upon thy thigh, O most mighty, with thy glory and thy majesty. And in your majesty ride prosperously because of truth, humility, and righteousness, and your right hand shall teach you awesome things. And in thy majesty ride prosperously because of truth and meekness and righteousness, and thy right hand shall teach thee terrible things. Your arrows are sharp in the heart of the king's enemies, the peoples fall under you. Thine arrows are sharp in the heart of the king's enemies, whereby the people fall under thee. Your throne, O God, is forever and ever, a scepter of righteousness is the scepter of your kingdom. Thy throne, O God, is forever and ever, the scepter of thy kingdom is a right scepter. You love righteousness and hate wickedness, therefore God, your God, has anointed you with the oil of gladness more than your companions. Thou lovest righteousness, and hatest wickedness, therefore God, thy God, hath anointed thee with the oil of gladness above thy fellows. All your garments are scented with myrrh and aloes and cassia, out of the ivory palaces, by which they have made you glad. All thy garments smell of myrrh, and aloes, and cassia, out of the ivory palaces, whereby they have made thee glad. King's daughters are among your honorable women, at your right hand stands the queen in gold from Ophir. King's daughters were among thy honorable women, upon thy right hand did stand the queen in gold of Ophir. Listen, O daughter, consider and incline your ear, forget your own people also, and your father's house. Hearken, O daughter, and consider, and incline thine ear, forget also thine own people, and thy father's house. So the king will greatly desire your beauty, because he is your Lord, worship him. So shall the king greatly desire thy beauty, for he is thy Lord, and worship thou him. And the daughter of Tyre will come with a gift, the rich among the people will seek your favor. And the daughter of Tyre shall be there with a gift, even the rich among the people shall entreat thy favor. The royal daughter is all glorious within the palace, her clothing is woven with gold. The king's daughter is all glorious within, her clothing is of wrought gold. She shall be brought to the king in robes of many colors, the virgins, her companions who follow her, shall be brought to you. She shall be brought unto the king in raiment of needlework, the virgins her companions that follow her shall be brought unto thee. With gladness and rejoicing they shall be brought, they shall enter the king's palace. With gladness and rejoicing shall they be brought, they shall enter into the king's palace. Instead of your fathers shall be your sons, whom you shall make princes in all the earth. Instead of thy fathers shall be thy children, whom thou mayest make princes in all the earth. I will make your name to be remembered in all generations, therefore the people shall praise you forever and ever. I will make thy name to be remembered in all generations, therefore shall the people praise thee forever and ever.